17th, City of Clarksburg meeting to order.
Councilmember Dean.
Here.
Councilmember Howe.
Present.
Councilmember Hyman. Councilmember Jackson.
Here.
Councilmember Ward.
Here.
Vice Mayor Riffle.
Here.
And Mayor Malcolm.
Here.
This evening we have our prayer and pledge by Councilmember.
Bow your heads with me. Heavenly Father, we come here to pray to you this evening. Pray to you in gratitude. Pray that we have 7 members here, all with great unique gifts, and citizens here that have the same gifts. And then we could come together and we could have discussion and also, make policies and pass ordinances and hopefully through those help our people here in Clarksburg. Heavenly Father, we also pray for all the flood victims throughout our state, through Texas, in those areas, folks who are struggling in our community. And that when we leave here, that we could strive to be a reflection of your Son's love in the world. For that's the most important thing we could do, not only up here, but outside of here. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the minutes of the regular session of June 26th.
Madam Clerk, I move we approve the regular session minutes from June 26th.
Second. Got a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed, motion carries.
Approval of the minutes of the special session of July 10th.
Madam Clerk, I move we approve the special session minutes from July 10, 2025.
Second. Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
Petitions, communications, and public hearings. Deborah Varner wishes to address council concerning a rezoning petition related to the request by her client, Venus Lane.
Hi, my name is Deborah Varner. I'm an attorney here in Clarksburg, and I represent VNS Land, which is an LLC loan that is owned by 2 local businessmen who unfortunately are not able to be here. I'm here to speak in favor of the rezoning, and I brought you some maps to put it in context because it may be a little bit confusing. This was advanced out of the Planning and Zoning Commission by a vote, and we believe that it would benefit the community. If you don't mind, if I can pass out these maps. So I brought you 2. Each map is the same except of the layers. So the first map, if you will look, it has, this is from your website, and it has the zoning of the areas and entities around where we're talking about. And we're talking about the VNS lots. There's actually 2 that are border Stony Brook Road. You're welcome. You're welcome. And this is just another of the same without the zoning, but with the area that we're talking about highlighted. It just doesn't have the R's and the B's for the zoning. So the request of VNS Land is to be rezoned from R1 to B2. If you will look at the map, you will see that the area along Stony Brook Road also has various businesses, including the Sheets and City Rentals, which I understand, at least from the zoning map, may or may not be in the city. But we have a variety of zoning in there, including R4 with apartments, condos, and ironically, the Summit Center, which is somehow classified and zoned as R4. And then also the Highland Hospital is in that area as well. So it's our position that the rezoning, given the nature of the area right there, will not adversely affect the public health, safety, or welfare of the community, and it will not interfere with the rights of the adjacent property owners. The one significant contiguous, which is important for the purposes of when you're looking at the code, the contiguous property owner, Mr. Scott, He is an original member of Stony Brook Holdings LLC, which is the entity that owns some lots up there. And there are 2 Stony Brook associations, just so we're clear. Mr. Scott has signed off on it, and that information is contained within the packet that was presented. In fact, Mr. Scott was one of the ones who drafted a document, which is an agreement between certain lot owners up in that area to remove the restrictive covenants that were placed upon this lot. And that information is in possession of the city. We believe that rezoning this to a B2 would permit reasonable use of the land, similar to the other businesses that are right along that road. When we were before the planning and zoning, one of the issues that came up was from one of the members who owned the condos. And they're up, if you look at the colored map with VNS colored in, the condos would be up by Pinewood Road. And the concern was traffic. However, the traffic from VNS would never enter into that area in front of those condos. We're talking about perhaps traffic on Stony Brook, but again, even a residential use of that area would increase traffic because people have cars. So it's our position that it would allow for the, and keep in consistency with the development that the city desires, and that there wouldn't be any adverse effects to the individuals within this area. One issue that has been brought to everyone's attention that was discussed at Planning and Zoning is there's a culvert there that's apparently of some concern. There's a question as to how that culvert got there and who owns the culvert. It may be that it was put in by the DEP. But that is an issue that's creating some flooding. The individual who is interested in buying this property from my client is an individual, it's a business, that has stated that they will assist with relieving the issues that are being created by that culvert. And so that's something that I believe would enhance and be of great benefit to the city and to the people in that area. So I'm happy to answer any questions. I understand this is public comment, but I will be here if anybody has any questions about the map or why we believe this to be in the best interest and for rezoning to be appropriate under the law. Thank you.
Christopher Scott, Pinewood Road, wishes to address council concerning the same subject.
Yes, I come this night, Christopher Scott, to speak in opposition to the rezoning. I'm a resident at 85 Pinewood Road. One of the reasons we were attracted to that area is because of the pristine forest and things around it. It's a beautiful view. It's a nice to take my son for walks and things like that. And in that particular area, even though I'm not sure, and I know it's not time for questions, I don't know what VNS Enterprises is. I'm not sure what type of business they do. My concern is we've already have some really large, heavy trucks that come in and out, not of the Sheets entrance and exit, but they come on that residential road and come into Sheets and out of Sheets that way. And my concern primarily is that we have kids that walk up and down that to get to the bus stop. People who happen to be in the apartments right behind it or the condos where I live that come back and forth to go to Sheets, to go to school, to go to the water park. And my concern is this would increase not just cars, but heavy trucks, like big trucks and things like that. And I guess my also feeling is and maybe there's more in the presentation to the zoning that I don't know about. I don't know if VNS Enterprises is a store. I don't know if it's construction. I don't know if it's and so I don't know what type of development that you all would be authorizing. And my concern would be, number one, the heavier traffic, the concern to the kind of the nature of the property around it, how pristine it is and how nice it is, and the kind of foot traffic that goes on there. Not just, and then with the increase of traffic, not just with cars, but with trucks and heavy machinery and things like that, considering that's already a problem. And I'm afraid that this might exacerbate that problem. So, thank you.
Mr. Scott, are you the property owner?
85 Pinewood Road, yes, sir.
So you live in the apartments?
And Stony. Well, I live in the condos above. So it's like, let me see. It's not Riverbend. It's where it says Pinewood. where it says R4, I'm right up there. And it's like that development is getting closer and closer. It just keeps getting closer and closer up to the residential areas, like more and more, you know what I mean? And so I know that there's some commercial and things like that already, but it's just getting closer and closer to the residential. And I'm afraid that this might set a precedent if we zone it this way now. Let's say that business, God forbid, goes somewhere else or closes or whatever. It's already been zoned. It sets up a spot where any other business could come in and continue to develop that area in a way that's, disruptive to the residents there. So.
City manager's report, nothing?
I think Ms. Bell's not feeling well. I think we're going to waive this reading. It'll be in the minutes. She's really not feeling very good here. So if that's okay with council, we'll waive the reading. Sure.
No unfinished business, new business. Consideration of first reading of an ordinance establishing salaries or compensation for municipal officers and employees for fiscal year 2025, 2026, and repealing all inconsistent ordinances.
Do you want me to give an explanation for the council?
Sure.
So at the last council meeting, there was a change to the ordinance, and the intent from what I heard from Councilmember Powell in the report is you wanted to make sure those who are lower on the income scale, make sure they get a proper increase. However, once you get down to a certain level with the 3%, it's actually lower than the minimum. So my suggestion is council does 0 to 50, 50 to 70, 70 above at an $1,800, $1,500, and $20, $1,200 increase. And then with the caveat that's for full-time employees. For regular employees, there's two suggestions: do a base increase of $1,000 or an hourly rate bump. I would suggest the hourly rate bump because part-time works differently, different hourly rate for part-time employees. So someone who works 50 hours could get a very large hourly increase, where those who are working 200 hours would get significantly less. So that $1,000 divided over those hours. So if council would like to suggest an hourly rate increase for $1,000, that would be my suggestions. This just achieves what Councilmember Howe was putting forward, and then including the part-time as well. And the impact to the budget is there. Our director of finance has round the numbers. It's about $7,000 more than the 3% that was talked about. But again, it just makes it clear across the board.
Do we need motions before?
Mr. Mayor, move we approve the ordinance establishing salary compensation for municipal officers and employees for fiscal year 2025, 2026, and repealing all inconsistent ordinances.
Second. We have a motion and a second.
Discussion. With that said, I would move that we amend this to reflect that employees making $0 to $50,000 a year get a raise of $1,800. Employees making $51,000 to $70,000 a year get a raise of $1,500. And employees earning above $70,000 get a raise of $1,200 this year.
What about the part-time?
And the part-time, give them the hourly rate bump.
Yeah, part-time.
A $1 an hour, like, what is the thoughts?
What does the number amount to?
Well, what the $1,000 will come out to is depending on how many hours you work during the year. So someone, it could work out to $2.50 an hour, someone could work out to 25 cents an hour. That's the problem with giving a flat rate for part-time.
Well, I mean, I'll move with giving them a flat rate for part-time of $1,000. With that amendment.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Hold on, I got a comment. So what would be the total amount of this last suggested amendment?
Around $60,000 $60,000 impact to the budget.
And so part-time employees will be anybody under 32 hours, or what is the,
Yes, everybody under 32 hours. Again, I don't want to be argumentative. I would encourage an hourly rate because you're going to throw the wage scale very much off by doing $1,000 because, like I mentioned, someone who works 50 hours could get literally a $3 or $4 hour raise, and someone who's working way more hours is going to get a 50-cent an hour raise. And every time Ian from the RG has asked for an hourly rate increase, it's generally $1 an hour, so that seems to be consistent with what we've done in the past.
This board,
So I mean, how is this throwing the scale off? I mean, other than just that?
Well, because people that you could have somebody who both are theater attendants at the RG, someone who's working 10 hours and someone who works 300 hours. So the one who works 10 hours, their hourly rate is going to be $15 an hour, and the someone who works 3 hours is going to make $7 an hour, because it's dependent on how many hours you work.
All right, well. I'll make the motion to do the hour, to do the dollar amount. On that and the part-time. As part of the amendment.
okay, we have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries.
So this does cover the people at the Robinson grant, right?
Yes.
Even though they weren't on the Excel spreadsheet.
Yes, it's just out of a different fund, and then this will be retroactively paid back to starting in the new fiscal year.
So we're back to the original motion, right?
Yes.
As amended.
As amended, yeah, you need a motion or a second.
We already had a second, so let's just call the question.
Yeah, all in favor? All opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Consideration of first reading of an ordinance transferring 210 Monticello Avenue, immediately adjacent property, 225 Monticello Avenue, 440 Lee Avenue, 415 High Street, and joining property and property next to 311 Davis Street in the city of Clarksburg to Clarksburg Land Reuse Agency.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Well, I would like you to make a quick amendment, if you would consider it, to add 213 Quincy Street to that as well. That was property we got in December of 2023. We realized, so the adjoining landowner, talking to Mr. Lane earlier this week, would like to purchase that. Looking at it, it was a property that we demoed in 2018 for about $1,600 and we got it. So it makes logical sense to try and get that to the LRA and to this adjoining landowner. So I'd ask you to move to amend the ordinance to add 213 Quincy Street to these conveyances.
Madam Clerk, I move we add 213 Quincy Street to the ordinances written.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? So now it's going to first motion. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Consideration of first reading of an ordinance of the city of Clarksburg to rezone and reclassify certain property adjacent to Stony Brook Road from an R1 to a B2.
We can get Mr. Lane to come up and speak about this property.
Council, if you guys have any questions, I can answer to the best of my ability.
Yeah, I'm curious to know what they're going to do with this property.
Yeah, definition.
With your permission, can I speak about with your back is mine?
We have a motion.
Madam Clerk, I move you approve ordinance in the city of Clarksburg to rezone and reclassify certain property adjacent to Stone Brook Road from R1 to B2.
Second. There's a motion and a second. Discussion.
Okay, with permission from the current landowner's legal counsel, she's granted me permission to talk of the folks that are wanting to purchase the property. Currently, one of the water board's contractors is looking for staging areas for some of their contract work. So essentially, it's going to be used as a pipe yard and to store their equipment and materials for the water board's contract. That in turn could possibly allow them and the taxpayers of Clarksburg a better price, because if there's more work coming up from the water board and they will already have a staging area for the future contracts that come up through the water board that they can bid on.
Mr. Lee, can you tell us how the vote went for the planning and zoning committee?
Planning and zoning, I believe, was 4 to 2. Was it 4 to 2? I can't recall exactly, but I'd have to go back through and look at it.
And
There-
the remediation is, there's gonna be significant cost if we had to incur that as the city, and the gentleman who's looking to buy that is going to be doing that remediation, working with our sewage department.
Why would the city incur the cost?
Why?
Why?
Well,
It's held by
large
other,
because it is draining onto other people's lots, a lot of times people go and above, that's been past practice.
There's currently question on who actually placed the sewer or the storm drains. So we're from what we've recall with James for Public Works, we don't recall placing those at all as a city entity. So we have to do some further research to try to even figure out who placed those culvert pipes.
I can tell you who placed it. It wasn't the city. There was never a culvert pipe there because it was not that level at that point in time. It happened in 2006.
Was it abandoned mine lands? That's what one of the things I thought that it may have been. Okay. Regardless of the culvert issue, they are collapsed and they do need some work done. My personal opinion is that if those culverts were functioning, then the flooding of Milford Street may not have happened.
But those culverts were never deeded to or taken over by the city. They were always owned by private property in that area.
so would there, I don't know, it just seems like I don't understand our responsibility to it. I understand why it's beneficial, but I don't necessarily understand our responsibility if it's not our call.
I think a lot of it goes back to the same thing we do across the city. We cut people's grass, we take
And
away their
charge them.
garbage and never get paid.
Well, then, yeah, okay.
I've had several calls from constituents that live up there. Is it going to be a blacktop? Is it going to be blacktop? Is it going to be stone? Is it going to be dusty? This is the calls that I'm getting.
I'm unsure of what the plan is for it now, but as the code enforcement director, any driveways and parking lots in the city of Clarksburg have to either be asphalt or concrete. So my recommendation to them when they come in to develop it and do the building permit is going to be that it be paved or concrete.
Thank you.
So can you explain, like, we're moving this from R1 to B2. What does B2 mean? Is that the only level of business development? Middle school teacher who doesn't know anything about zoning. So what does B2?
So my recommendation to the current property owner was to do that as a B2. I'm a Clarksburg resident as well. And had we have moved it up to an industrial type zoning, then there could be issues that could development of an industrial style there. B2 allows for basically storage facilities, small businesses, and anything lower than that. So even though it's zone B2, somebody can come back in and build a home on the B2 property if they sell it in the future.
As opposed to an industrial.
Correct. B2 zoning allows for single family and 2-family residential units, as well as light commercial type operations up to and including a warehouse storage facility.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
The B2 zoning allows for single or 2-family, multifamily residential units, small businesses, or warehouse and storage type businesses.
And is this property the whole left side of the R1 B2? Is it all of this?
Do you mind if I come up and look to see exactly what you're
Yes,
looking at?
please. Or, oh, I'm sorry, thank you, I was looking at the wrong map. It's right
Yeah,
here.
so it's these two parcels right here, this one and this one. And Stony Brook Road and the original HOA and development that this property was a portion of is the property that goes up further past this. And as Ms. Varner said, this is a separate HOA in itself.
Right, and so the only,
Yeah.
the only way into this development is right here.
That's correct.
There is no other.
It's a dead end road up through there. And the entrance to this parcel right here would be clear down and coming up through this parcel.
Yeah.
And just by measuring, because like I said, I am a resident of Clarksburg,
Yeah.
we're about 90 yards from the entrance, where the entrance could possibly be to the first corner of the first house there. The first townhome.
We're not 90 yards from the entrance to the.
From where you would enter the property to the corner of the townhome. So essentially from here up into the corner of the townhome.
So they can't enter the property from here? I mean, could they?
They could, but the entrance is pretty much already built right there on that first parcel as you come up through.
Okay.
There's also a retaining wall that comes down through in this area here that was built apparently maybe when the culverts were placed.
I had a question. So Jason, can you please explain this, I guess, the stormwater situation? Because what I'm hearing from the attorney is that the, property owner is willing to work to fix that, but I'm hearing that the city's going to be involved in it too. Can you just clarify that?
The potential property owner, since he owns a construction business, has told me himself that he will make the repairs and have it back to normal and functioning.
Our involvement would tell me what we would like to see in our requirements, to make sure it's done properly.
Okay. And does that have any kind of MS4 requirement or anything?
That would be up to the future property owner to get any MS4s and permits that would be associated with that work. The city wouldn't have any involvement with that.
Okay.
Any NPDES permits or DEP type permits would have to be done by the potential owner.
Okay.
Any other questions, discussion?
Yeah, I got a question. Just to clarify, this is going to be done because it's going to be used for a pipe yard for the project, the water board project?
That is the current proposal.
Jerry?
You guys hear me?
Yeah.
Did he hear me? He might not
Did
have heard
you
me.
not hear him?
No.
He said yes, it's going to be used as a pipe yard for the water board project.
So could we not put a variance in there with a time limit for just during the process of that project?
15 years. It's a long walk.
Why would we want to do that?
Because if there is question from the citizens, and this is only going to be used during that project, we could go back to what it was before that.
I'm afraid that the property probably would not sell if that was the case.
Did you hear that?
No.
I don't think he can hear me.
We'll come up here and
Yeah.
repeat that, please.
Hey, Jerry, it's Jason. I'm afraid the property would not sell if that was the case, if we just did a variance with that, as you mentioned.
But if that's the purpose of what they're going to be changing for, why would they not still be interested in the property?
They might have a future use for it that we're not aware of.
Small business.
Well, that's what I worry about. It could be something different.
But you can't put industrial on there, Jared,
Does,
Why not?
because DG doesn't allow for that.
Jason, do you believe that pipe yard falls under the description of business?
I would classify that as storage, because they're storing pipe and product to use on the water board project. And with the proposed water board projects, we're extending out into a 2029 timeframe to get the water board's projects done. And, this would increase the competitive bidding if you have a contractor that's already established an area here in Clarksburg. So that's going to increase the competitive bidding and lower the tax dollars being spent on the projects.
Do we know why the two dissenting votes in the planning and zoning, what their issues were?
Increase in traffic, but we're not understanding why, because the other side of the street is a dead-end street. So we're not sure how it would increase traffic.
That was both no votes, thoughts, that was their reason?
I'm pretty sure that's the case. Now, that being said, in the state code, it's a little bit different because the owners of the townhomes, their property technically is not contiguous with the property in question. There is a road in between the two, which by definition negates the fact of contiguous property.
Anything else, Gary?
No.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? All opposed?
No.
Brian Dees,
No.
Martin Howe,
Yeah.
Will Hyman.
Aye.
Mark Jackson,
Yes.
Wayne Moore.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Ripple,
Yes.
Mayor Longstreet.
Yes.
Consideration of a resolution of the city of Clarksburg, West Virginia to enter into an agreement with Mid-State Chevrolet and Buick Sutton for purchase of a Chevrolet service truck.
Madam Clerk, I move we approve resolution of the city of Clarksburg to enter into an agreement with Mid-State Chevrolet, Buick, Sutton for purchase of a Chevrolet service truck.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Consideration of a resolution to approve revision to the city budget for fiscal year 25-26.
Madam Clerk, I move we approve a resolution to approve revision of the city budget for fiscal year 2025-2026.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Did you say no, Jerry?
He said aye.
No, I said, yeah.
Consideration of appointment to the Clarksburg Harrison Regional Housing Authority.
I'll make a motion to appoint William Rhoda to the housing authority.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Howe, council comments.
So is it possible, there definitely is a lot of infrastructure upgrades continuing in the city. Who at the city is our point of contact for the public regarding the actual upgrades, things happening that are coordinating, where all the information is flowing through to the public? Now, I know the water board has Bobby Tenney, the gas company has Adam Gary, but who, and then we have Thrasher with the sanitary board, but who in the city is the point of contact and getting the information out?
So the information that I get from the water board, or if there's information about Hope Gas needs us to get out, we put it, and First Energy, even though they're not specifically part of the project, those go to our communications person, and we put it out on the website and social media. If people have specific questions, they can call and talk to myself or to Jason. We've also encouraged people, if they're interested in the project, Hope Gas, the water board, and Thrasher, they all have their contact out in public. It depends on which one you're talking about.
Well, for simplicity, we're in our central business district. We have to recognize it is disruptive to businesses one way or another and the property owners. I just think we just need a point of contact so they know who to call and not giving them 5 different numbers, 5 different names, but specifically somebody here at the city that has a grasp of what's going on, the information is coming through, the information is to be disseminated back, and I would assume we have the email addresses to the businesses downtown, the property owners, but to get something to them, make them aware of road closures that are happening spontaneously that pop up and traffic is being diverted. Because not everybody's on social media, not all the businesses are watching social media hour by hour, day by day to see if something's changing. So, and I'm sure, I hope we're telling the first responders. No. So, I mean, for that issue as well, I think they need to know as well for emergency situations that either Third Street's closed between these hours, or if they're putting the roadblocks out halfway down and now you gotta go down Trader's Alley, which isn't even a true street for driving down, and yet there's trucks for them to make that turn.
I can work on that. I would like to say, I was leaving work 2 days ago, and Second Street was fully open. As I was driving up, 2 waterboard trucks stopped, put on their hazards, got out on the road, and blocked off traffic right when I was on the road.
Which is my point. I guess that's why, we're the city. So, they're all utilizing the right of ways of the city, obviously the state as well, but we should be the point of contact for dissemination of the information. Hour by hour, if something changes, somebody here in City Hall needs to be made aware of that. And if it's you, or if it's, anyway.
If you can do that, I will direct them to our website. If they have email, chances are they can get on our website or on Facebook.
Well, I think we're downtown. I'm sure you guys walk to lunch or something. Stop in, tell people, look, this is happening. We got to be more visible because it's a PR nightmare out there. And we just, and don't get me wrong, I'm all for all the infrastructure. I love it. Things are happening. The city of Wheeling was shut down for almost 3 years with all their infrastructure upgrades, and it looks beautiful what they did. But we have to be in a position to be more visible out there. I would encourage all the staff members that have any knowledge of the project whatsoever, get out in the streets, walk around, speak to the property owners, speak to the business owners, make sure we're communicating as much as possible, because I just don't feel personally that's happening, and we just need to be out there. And I know we're on social media, but we're not going to keep up with it. We just need to be out there and make sure. And if they have any concerns, they can then voice those concerns directly to them. And then those concerns will be brought back in-house. They can be brought to the water board, Hope Gas, anybody. I just think they need to be out and about and visible. They need to hear the complaints. They need to hear what everybody's going through. So please, maybe take the whole team out, take a journey, and I'm sure there's going to be noise out there that you're going to hear. So I would just encourage that as much as possible. Just from an economic development standpoint, I would like to request that maybe contact Tom Main with Steptoe, and I would like to see an engagement letter with Steptoe for some TIF and some other things that we're currently going through that we have one.
We did it about 3 weeks ago.
Council approve it.
No, that's because there's no specific date, so it doesn't need to be approved by council for legal.
Well, we weren't made aware of it, but so I'm glad to hear that. But I would like to have, I personally like to review it myself. As council, see what the ins and outs of that one is, and then I'd like to bring it back, maybe make a recommendation to council if council supports it, to amend it to what their parameters would be on some of those TIFs, because there are some new developments in the city that have happened, and some of these companies do want to purchase additional property and potentially expand. And I think having Tom highly involved in these conversations will drastically improve, I think, the speed of some of this potential development happening as well. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Riffle, would you like to comment so you can get out and get back to the beach?
Yeah, I will kind of speak on what Councilman Howell said. There's been no communication, even to the police department, from the contractors downtown. I mean, I literally watched them shut down a street that's coming right out where the police station is at and changing where they would be leaving for emergency accident. Even the people that are flagging sometimes have no idea what's going on. I mean, because I'm constantly walking down, talking to them, asking them to, and I don't know, even if we had people out all the time, it'd be tough to get the right information. It's just, I mean, they're shutting down streets at random and not even telling the police department. I mean, that is an issue. It's a huge issue. I don't know how we fix that. We met with the DOH. They kind of update us on things, but, you know, as far as communication, I don't think that's improved. A little bit it has, but there's randomly stopping things and shutting things down. And it is an issue. I don't know how we fix that, though. Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't get to speak during the meeting earlier today with the Board of Education. There were some issues with the phone, but I was happy it went well. I definitely have a lot of comments and things on it, but I'll save that for another day. But it was good to see us to come together. Thank you to all the staff that put that together, the Board of Education members, and our council. I think it went well, and looking forward to the next meeting. And I'm heading back to the beach. I'll be back Sunday.
Thank you. Have a nice time.
Thanks. Bye.
Mr. Worth?
Yeah, I had a question. Probably about maybe a little over a year ago, I believe, we were awarded a grant for our downtown sidewalks from Mansion Captain's office.
Yes, Jason's working on it.
Have we received any of those funds, like we put in the bank? Because I don't know if people watch the news or not, but there's people who have been awarded grants, federal grants.
And they're asking for them back.
Well, not only asking for back, they're not paying anybody. So I worry about that. So is that something we're looking into?
So we're in the design phase right now.
Okay.
I don't believe they're pre-funding them, like giving them the money
Okay.
with those grants. I'll double check, but we are actively working on designing the downtown sidewalks as well. We're putting together a package for council because we talked about getting fiber in the ground downtown. Hope Gas is leaving their old pipe in the ground, and it may be feasible for us to line that pipe and put our fiber through the ground that way. So both of those things are being worked on.
Okay. And the other thing is too, are we still having the Broadway neighborhood picnic?
There's one next
22nd.
week that's been advertised. It's on Tuna and Tuesday, Tuna.
Because I didn't see it anywhere on our social media.
It's up.
Is that, okay. So unless it got up there.
I think it came up today.
Came up today, okay, that's good, that's good. The other thing is too, and I'll echo Councilman Howell, about having a better presence out there, you know, when it comes to updates on the water project. I think we should even go a step further, whether you like them or don't. The governor pretty much has a press conference about every 3 days somewhere. And I think maybe we should do that too. Bring all the key players together, the city, just to have a big press conference, maybe once a week, and have the media there to ask questions, to say, hey, what's going on with this project? Why is this on
We
the
had a meeting
streets?
last week, we had a meeting last week with 26
Make it an
contractors in
email.
the room, including myself. And I had our communication guy come in and take a picture, and they all freaked out.
Well, but I think, but to your point, I mean, you're
I
not
don't know
gonna
how else to,
But
but I think
just
you have to
crash
contact from
representatives.
each one.
right.
The
And
crash
have them
representatives.
answer questions. You know, I mean, I believe we can facilitate that as a city.
Well, what I will tell you is I was out yesterday, I worked a full day, and then I was out on the road for the water main break. The mayor drove by and stopped. Myself, James, Larry, Public Works, Sanitary, and this isn't a bash at police or fire at all, but right now we're working 12 to 16 hour days. So if we're going to do more things, we're gonna need more resources because everybody's tapped out with what's going on right now.
See, I didn't know that, so.
I try to go out when there's, some sort of an infrastructure failure, when it's a big deal, to go out so they know they have the support of the city. However, I did have a thought a couple days ago to Councilman Howell's point, we don't have a director of code. And sanitary and public works have both been suggesting to me that we need a road inspector. And I'm thinking of hiring somebody on contract to do road inspections, but also be the, construction liaison. During this, we have 3 massive projects going on right now. The DOH is bidding out the 2nd Street Bridge on July 22nd. They're bidding out the 4th Street Bridge to fix. It's about to get a bunch hairier. So, which is amazing because from what I can see, we're having an amazing amount of infrastructure dollars poured into this city. Millions upon millions upon millions of dollars. So I agree, it would be nice to have somebody liaising with these businesses. We need to have somebody come here and do it. Because right now, there's nobody to do it. Jason's doing 2 jobs right now.
And I get that, and I mean, I don't know what the answer is, what the mechanism is to be able to relay, real-time information out to the public, other than this social media.
Well,
Some folks don't even on social
There's
media.
text, like cell phone text alerts you can send out, there's email alerts, and I don't think that's a particularly bad idea. But it all takes time and energy to do it, and
Right.
we need somebody to do that.
Okay.
And it would still be a savings on the budget because that salary would be less than the director of code.
I mean, I appreciate the fact that we're getting a major overhaul of infrastructure for the first time in 100 years. So I'm a big infrastructure guy, I support infrastructure. It's just, it sounds like it's just overwhelming to everybody.
It is.
Yes, I mean, I don't know what the plan is, but there has to be some sort of better plan of communication, and that shouldn't be the burden of the city, it should be these entities coming together and saying, hey, this week we may have problems here, this week we may have problems there, whether that's the water board or contractors, whatever.
They're digging
But
up.
again, it's like herding cats, so.
I don't think they can foresee the
Yeah.
problems, because last night, that water main break last night was just due to vibration.
Right, yeah, you just don't know. You got 125 years underneath you,
Yeah.
and the city's a big sinkhole, so.
We will work on it.
Okay, I appreciate it. That's all I got. Sorry to be so negative.
Mr. Hyman?
Well, I'll try not to be so negative. In fact, Tiffany and I were just talking about some type of alert system that we could have. In fact, a constituent came up to me speaking about, we may have talked to you guys too, about the floods in Texas. And it spurred discussion about the tornado sirens. We were talking about the tornado sirens. I said, well, it's not 1955 anymore. We can text this stuff out, and maybe that's something we need to look into in regards to these road closures. I've been taking my daughter to the Y every day this summer, and I can't tell you how many times I've gotten off on the 3rd Street exit to go up Lowndes Hill, and the road's closed. I had no idea that the road was closed, and it's not that big of a deal for me. I'm, not pressed for time, but I do have to reroute my entire trip up Pike and then back down Main. And then I was like, well, I'll get the jump on it. I'll get off on Chestnut Street, go up Main. And then you get up there and it's Main Street's closed, or at least it's down one lane and I can't turn. So maybe some type of alert system for that when we know, and I think that's part of the problem. That Mr. Howell alluded to, we just don't know when these companies are going to just abruptly shut down 2nd Street or Main Street. Yeah, we know they're working, but we just don't know. They need to tell us. And if it's something that we can reiterate in those weekly meetings that Mr. Lane was talking about, the sanitary board meeting, I guess, I don't know if is it every week you guys have those, or
We have one with the DOH and scheduling once a month, and then the progress meetings for like payment applications are once a month as well with the contracts.
Yeah, I mean, like if you're not going to get updates on road closures at those meetings, I mean, just because if they're only once a month and they're closing it down every other day, but you know.
Well, and to your point, Hope Gas, the head guy there, he texts me what roads, and they're being great to deal with as much as they can there. He'll say this week we're closing A, B, C, D, but he's like, I can't tell you which days we're closing the roads. So it's a guessing game.
Yeah, that's just not gonna work. I mean, I understand. I mean, not everything can be done how everybody wants it to be done. And I can sense the frustration from everybody I speak to, and I think everybody hears it. Everybody in this room, it's not just council. But, if there was some way where we could tell our citizens, and it could be used for other purposes too, like that, the boil water advisory, for something we can tag team with the water board on, and, they can send out alerts, we can send out alerts, or if there's, road closure from the city, we can, but when it comes to these companies, I just don't know how that will be accomplished, but maybe it's something we can look into, something that we can plan, maybe have a work session,
Next week,
look at
right away.
some estimates on getting something done like that. I think that would be ideal, but that's all I have.
Thank you.
Yep.
Mr. Jackson? I already said it. But I'm gonna say it again. I've been saying this for a while. The problem we have a lack of communication. And those individuals who are in our city doing work owe us that due respect to let us know when they're gonna be shutting these streets down. And I said it when we first started, I'm excited about all the work that's going on. I'm still excited. Even though I sat 15 minutes over in front of the mayor's house today, and I was wondering, is this guy actually flagging traffic? Or is he just standing there looking at his phone? It's sad, and I can understand the frustration of our citizens. I mean, basically, it seems like nothing's happening. This isn't like turning a jet ski on a lake. This is more like turning an ocean liner out in the middle of the ocean. But you know what? When they have people out there flagging, they need to be really flagging. Because they got flags there. I accidentally drove by a guy and then had to pull in the parking lot, get out of my car and go back and apologize because he was just standing there and I didn't realize he was flagging traffic. It's like, no. And when they're going to close the street, don't take the sign all the way down to the end of the street and put road closed. Put it up here at the beginning so I don't turn down there in the first place and then I'm trying to back up with 7 other cars behind me. We have to demand of these contractors that they need to communicate better with us, so that we can communicate better with the people that we have owners to here in the city. I mean, it is what it is, and I said it, and I'll keep saying it. We need a meeting with these individuals. We need to find out who they are, and to make sure that we are able to communicate with the citizens. Because it's frustrating as Dickens when we have that problem right here. Then when you jump out on 79, you got the same problem out there. It's just even more frustrating. So we have to make sure that we're doing all. Yeah, there's construction going on. But you know what? Some of these things, we can help alleviate some of these headaches because we should be able to, get in and out of some of these little back roads. But when you go to your back road and it's blocked off, it's like, wow. And you can't tell me these contractors don't know some of the, they don't have schedules, some of these things. And I get it. Okay, yeah, we didn't know we were going to lay this much pipe on this thing this day. But, we have first responders over here. And, if we do have an emergency situation, now they've got a street blocked off with a big old truck sitting here and nobody knows where the keys are. What are we going to do? Back the fire truck up, run? We need to know these things. So, that, I'd like to thank everybody. I thought we had a very good meeting this evening with the Board of Education. I hope that we can make something happen there and move things forward. So, just keep pushing forward. At some point, we'll get to look back and we'll get to see, all this work and all this frustration that we're going through right now. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you, anybody. Oh, Mr. Deans, your turn, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Next time I'll just interrupt you.
No, you won't. Go ahead. Time's up. Thank you.
Always a pleasure. So I will say, I also got caught in the maze that is the Clarksburg water board construction yesterday and today. You got off easy it was only 15 minutes in front of the mayor's house. I was there 20 this morning. You know, I echo everyone. I think any kind of streamlining of communication that we can get out, going through cell phones, I think cell phone email is a good way. I will say there is a light on the other side of the tunnel. In Northview, you know, when they started tearing up West Virginia Avenue, that was awful. I was mad, just like everybody else. And, you know, we kind of worked out the kinks and things have gotten a little bit better. So, you know, there is that's going to get better, you know. And again, I think without knowing, we all decided tonight was communication night. One of the things that I specifically remember from our first barbecue last year was one of the comments we got in Northview was ways to communicate with citizens that are not on Facebook, not through social media. And so I think there's a place for both of those things, right? There are people who are chronically online. I am one of them. So there is a place for the social media, and I think that we need to be there, and maybe we need to be there a little bit harder, a little bit more, taking up some more space there. But you know, I think we need to figure out where these people are, and so you know, the music person that I am, I think about like punk rock bands, right? If you're advertising the show, you get a flyer, you go put it up in the convenience store. You go, you know, in Northview, 2 convenience stores, right? You're at A.B. Cody's, you ask them to hang up a little flyer that's, you know, a message from the mayor, a message from the city manager. It's got a list of events for the week, right? Or, you know, we do it every 2 weeks. So we get this information out and we meet people where they are. We talk about, maybe we ask churches if they can post it in their social halls. If downtown will let us put these flyers up there. The Robinson Grand does flyers for their shows. They're great. They look great. They always catch my attention. I think something like that for city events would be really good. Again, kind of on the communication side, I've had several people come to me with the idea of like a weekender. It would be something that would be sent out on Wednesday night, Thursday morning, whether that be social media, email lists, you know, from the Robinson Grand, Clarksburg History Museum, CBB. And ideally, I'm not trying to put more stuff onto communications plate here. This probably should be done through the CBB, but it needs to get done where we're blasting out, hey, like, this is what's happening in Clarksburg this weekend. Talking about the barbecue, right? How many people knew that there's a free concert at the amphitheater?
So just for clarification, CBB is only in charge of advertising 50 miles outside of the city limits. That's their mandate from the state.
Oh, okay.
That'd be a good job for you, Councilman Deans.
I don't think I can be employed by the city, Mr. Mayor, but
You can do it as a volunteer. You are getting paid, if I'm told.
anyway, I'll reclaim my time. But what I would say to that is, I mean, I get things from Marion County CBB on social media. So again. But then, okay, maybe it does fall onto us to do these things where we're reaching out to these people and saying, hey, these are things that are happening here. You know, there was a free concert on the lawn of the Waldemore on Saturday. Wasn't mentioned on our social media. That's okay. You know, and I know hopefully at some point we're going to have the new website and the community calendar events. and all that stuff's great. But again, we're asking people to be online. You know, I also think a weekender could have not advertisements, but could highlight city restaurants, city businesses, with specials that they might have for that weekend. So that's something that, you know, I would like the city manager to look into. Maybe that comes to a work session in August. But I think that would go a long way in marketing, the city in a positive way. So, yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Dean. See something, say something. Call for adjournment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Meeting is done.